And today we are having our Isets TA call. We're going to start out with whatever questions you have. And before we started the recording, Donna told me that she had some questions, so I'm going to let her fire away.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I've just had a few general questions. Can you verify employment from ISET? So I was talking to one of our providers today as we start to go into this. So they had a few questions from there.
Yes, on a customer profile,
Mm-hmm.
there is, let's see here. On the overview page under employment, there is a section where you add the employment. And then after you get that employment added, there is a spot where you check, have they been there 30 days? Did they get a promotion? All that kind of good stuff. Let me see if I can find someone where I know that I've added employment before. I think I
Okay.
did on Alice. No. Well, let me just add some real quick here. So if I add an employer name, say it's Target. I like Target because it's easy to spell. And they started, say they started February 1, and their job title is cashier. And it's retail. We don't have to add a street address. We're going to put Homewood in Illinois, and I don't know, 60678, let's say. I don't even know. They got paid $15 an hour. Their job duties were cashier, hours a week. Did it meet their needs? Yes or no, and why? No, not enough hours. And we're going to save that. Save that. And once it's in there, then when you click on the employer, the actual employer name,
Mm-hmm.
down here at the bottom, it has the verification information. And on here, you upload a document for the employment verification. You can add a case note if you want to. Did they receive a raise or a promotion? You just check a box. And then what will happen is your provider manager, I believe, is the one that's going to verify that the documentation that you uploaded was appropriate.
Okay. So it's the actual provider, then you're doing the verification. But is it, say if you have an individual who completed the training portion of the program and then they just disappear, and they're ghosting you or whatever. But is there a way that you can then go into ISET and verify if they are working or not?
I don't know. I don't believe that we have a link to that. You could potentially talk to your provider manager and have them check the IES system. I will, if you want to send that email, I don't see Andy in the call. If you want to send that email to Andy,
Okay.
then that would be the best way to get an answer.
Okay. All right. Okay. Awesome.
But right now, we don't have that capability in Isets.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so my next question is, that's good to know. Is there a way to get a download of the universal assessment?
I'm not sure. Let me go to the partner page. I don't.
Because I know you can print it after you've completed it. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work around, because I'm as being responsible for the intermediary. I'm trying to work within the confines of the system and how it's set up, but I also have to set up processes of how the intermediary will work as far as our training providers. So that's what I've been trying to do as we
The
get.
the goal of the process was to get the information added into the system. That was the goal. So
Yeah,
that
I
we
understand.
wouldn't have the paper.
Right.
I don't believe that I have a paper version of it. That would be another question that we can get a paper version, but
Okay.
you would need to ask Andy if that would be allowable.
Okay. No, I just want to see it. It's not for people to fill it out. I just want to be able to be able to show what the questions are so that people understand what you're asking them to do this universal assessment. I get the whole thing with having the without having the paper because that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. But I just want to be able to show so we be able to display all the questions that are in there. So
I could probably get something like that,
okay.
so that the questions are there.
Okay.
Let me
Yes.
make myself a note to create something like that.
So at least, I mean, along from the provider standpoint, sometimes they don't have the individuals. I mean, for the most part, they have individuals sitting in front of them. So at least the amount of time that it might take for them to enter it. So I'm trying to, give as much information as possible. That was the reason why I wanted that.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
All right, great. What
And
do you have any other
then
questions?
I got one more.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been going through the system that as slowly as we get into this, because I have to go do a lot of work to get access. So we figured out last week that everyone had to have a SIPOC completed. So we're going through the process of getting every provider under us right now. We're up to 10 right now to getting that done. But I did want to find out if there's a listing of the FCRC offices, or do you just go by the client zip code? Because I was looking at one of the job aids and starting the training for it, and one of them said that you had to um, select a local office, like if you were doing a reverse referral, select the office closest to the individual. I mean, but do you do that? Because I know sometimes, and I'm not sure if the offices are open, anything along those lines. I was looking at the intake and referral instructions in that
Right.
job aid.
And I believe that the workforce development people are going to be reviewing the assessments, the reverse referral requests.
Mm-hmm.
So if the participant knows their address or of their local office, you could select that one. Otherwise, my suggestion would be to pick the closest one because the workforce development group are going to be reviewing the referrals and doing the approvals of those referrals.
Okay. Okay. So if the person knows it, that's great. But if they don't, then you just go by the person's like where they live, their zip code, and then you do it that
I
way.
would, that's what I would pick, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You can also confirm that with Andy. Normally she's on these calls, but she's out of town on business right now, so her
Okay.
timing might be off for this call.
Got it. No problem. Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have for now.
Yay! All right. Armand, I see that you have your hand up. Would you like to ask a question?
Yes, Heidi and everybody else. This is more like a kind of question that pertains to our agency only. And I don't know, should I shoot an email to you? I did actually, you were CC'd on it. I did email Andy. And I'm basically, our agency has been listed with two previous addresses that we
Oh,
don't use.
I got that email and I tried to get in touch with somebody to help fix that issue. And she was busy and then I got busy, so we haven't touched base yet, but I will get that fixed.
You'll take care of that because I
Yeah,
wanted first that to be taken care of, so then I can continue with entering all the data that we need to.
yes. I have that email and I have it flagged to try to get it resolved.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions today?
Dee,
Yes, ma'am.
this
Hi,
is
Carolyn. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. This is Carolyn with Two Rivers. Now, how do you put a new person on? I've been fooling around in there a little bit, and I just can you help me with that?
Sure. And just to let you know, we do have a whole section of training. So if you click up here, once you're actually in Isets,
Uh-huh.
you can click this. Let me get to the top. You can click the drop down arrow by your name, and it's got my training, and it's got videos that we've done
Okay.
that
Okay.
are there, so that if you want to go back and look at them later. And then on the partner page itself, we have the instructions for intake and referral. What you can do is the first step is to do a search IES customer. When you search the name, the information gets synced from IES. We get a list of current customer information on the 5th and the 20th. And so then it syncs overnight.
Okay.
And the new information will be available on the 6th and the 21st. So then
Okay.
you would just enter their name. So I'm just gonna use your name,
Sure.
and we're gonna put in a date of birth of 05/05, 1995. You're welcome. And we're gonna search for an IES customer. And if that customer is in the list, it will match it to the information in the list, and it will give me the case number, the ID number, the recertification date. It'll give me all of that information. And if it's not found, then you can continue with the information. So what's your zip code there? 62,
6301.
I'm sorry, 62.
301.
And then we can mark whether or not the person has an email address. We can continue. It will then search for an Isets account, meaning whatever is in the system. And so if it does not find anybody, it will create someone. So you can see right here that it created a profile. Now I'm logged in as an administrative person, so I can assign this person to an agency. And then I can select a provider. But what it would do for you doing this is you would continue filling in the address, the basic information for that customer, and then it would take you to find and create the assessments. So it's a pretty quick step initially, and then after that you get those assessments done.
Okay. Thank you.
And to do the reverse referral, you need to at least have the initial assessment done. But I'll tell you, the needs assessment, the next piece is maybe another 10 minutes max.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
once you get used to the process, they actually do go pretty quickly.
So after the assessments are done, then is there anything else? I mean, I know the
You need to do the referral.
The referral, and would that be it from there after you receive the referral?
After
I'm just asking if there's anything else.
For initially, you have to do the referral, and you have to have the referral approved before you can continue to provide services.
Okay.
And then after the referral is completed and approved, then you would assign the services to that person that you're going to provide. And based on the program that you're doing, you know, SNAP job placement or SNAP to Success or Earn Fair, whichever program you're doing, there's particular services associated on that customer's IEP that you would provide.
Okay. Based on their needs, yes, okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So I'm going to assign this person here. And then you can see that it is searching for the assessments. And then I can complete these assessments right here.
D, in the example that you gave, I'm sorry, this is Donna. The assessment that you just gave from there. So say if the what Carolyn just asked about, instead of going back, can you save what you have and then come back and create and do the assessments, or do you have to do them right away?
You can come back and do the assessment. So what I would do, if I'm in here and I'm looking at this and I don't want to do this assessment right now, I can come back in here and I'm logged in as a super admin, so my customer list is going to be huge.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to kind of do is I'm going to kind of come here, pick my dashboard. I'm also going to close down some of these other tabs. And I'm going to go to my need action. I'm going to look for Carolyn. Oh. I got to spell her name right. So I can look for Carolyn. And then when I go to the intake and referral tab,
Mhm.
you can look at this top box right here and complete the universal assessment with the customer. My suggestion is to try to do it right then and there, especially if you happen to have the customer with you or on a Zoom call with you. It's just going to be easier just to do it right now instead of having to come back and do it.
Okay.
And Bill's saying, yeah. And then it takes you right back to that same place.
Okay.
All right, Eugene, you've got your hand up. You got a question?
Yes. This system is for Snap. I, by mistake, went searching for a client. I thought they were Snap, found them, and then realized they were TANF. Are there TANF clients in this system?
Not yet.
She popped up.
Uh-oh. Okay. Just so that you're aware, the Isets users are housed in the Illinois workNet database.
Okay.
And so that participant may have been associated with another program that is hosted by Illinois workNet.
Mm-hmm.
So that user could be there, but the program is not being tracked yet for TANF.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir. Mr. Bill?
There was a time when we had the CCRC program and we had another program and we were co-enrolling them into the SNAP program. So that's what that might have happened that way.
What Eugene was just talking about?
Yes.
Does that make sense, Eugene?
Yes, it does. Okay.
Excellent. Donna, did you have another question?
No, I just don't know how to unraise the hand. I was trying to do it. I'm like, oh God, I don't have another question not right now.
It's up in the reactions and you just click on the hand again.
Oh, okay.
Yay! Okay, so now we've got everybody raising their hand because they're going to go play. All right, so do the heart, do the happy face, do the clapping. Go ahead, play with them all.
Hi, Dee.
Yes. Hi,
Uh,
Loris.
I, hi, I have a question. So, can you go over entering the individuals that's engaged in subsidized employment?
So on their services, let me go get to a customer that has an IEP already. These are all my partners. Oh, goodness. Hang on, let me get to a different spot. Okay. On the intake and referral option, there are services that are recommended, and then there are activities that you can add for your location. If you go to your location in here, for the particular program that you are enrolling the person in, you would pick what's going on here. So now if you're adding the employment service and it's subsidized or unsubsidized, you add that service and then it's going to tell me that it's already been added. So then what I would do is I would go to their IEP, go to their activities and services, go into here, find the service, the E for employment, click on edit. So this is for those of you who were part of the EPIC program a couple of years ago. This part hasn't changed much. It's just updated for the actual services that are part of this system. So then you can add the company that you have. You will probably have more than one company, but we've only added one test company right now. Add that person to it. It adds the information in here. You put down what the minimum wage is for that. How much is the subsidy? So if you're subsidizing $15 of that, it would show you that there's $2 left for the unsubsidized wage. I don't know what your contracts offer. What type of position is it, full-time or part-time? Did they start? And then over here on the right-hand side, we have a start date. When did they start? And then how many hours a week are they doing? I don't know, 30, is that a good number? And then you update the customer service. So that's how you track the subsidized wage. If there is a subsidized end date, I don't have a subsidized end date. Are you, I don't know the answer to this. So are you allowed to subsidize wages in SNAP?
Well, it's an actual activity that they're engaged in, and it is subsidized work where they earn wages. And I know we were informed that the subsidized wages would be budgeted as if they were actually working an unsubsidized job. But we had to put a start date and end date when we notified the FCRC the activities that they're engaged in.
Okay. Can you please send an email to Andy? Copy me on it. because right now this is not tracking a subsidized start date. And we can add that because we have that for other programs. But I just need the programmer to update this if that's the possibility.
Okay.
Because that's how it's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be 2 more blocks right here for subsidized start date and subsidized end date. If I take out the subsidized wage, it's probably going to let me save it because I'm not doing a subsidized wage.
But do you know when we were doing Epic and we were entering their employment information for their subsidized site, it actually it was different from this screen that you're showing me.
Right. This is some update that we've done based on another program that we had between Epic and Now.
Okay. Okay, because I think the way you all had it for Epic, I think that worked for
It
subsidized
allowed
employment.
it allowed us to upload the check stubs.
Well, and you still do that. So on the customer profile here, we have, I'm sorry, on the, oh goodness. On the
Just have to get,
overview page, on the overview page, there's an uploads spot right here. So you can still upload the stubs, basically is what you're looking for.
Okay.
And then you would add the employment here under the employment, if they're actually tracking that as their employment. But if it's an activity, so we need that clarified by Andy too. So if they're using it as an activity, is it tracked under the outcomes as well?
Okay.
All right. And here's where you would go to, I'm sorry, up underneath your name, under worksite placement is where you would add the work sites. We cleaned up the menu just a little bit to make it less all in your face up across the top. Bill, did you have another question or were you playing with your hands stuff? Putting your hand up and down. No, Eugene, you got another question?
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Hi,
Hey,
D.
D.
I have a question. So with the existing, with us being a SNAP provider already, would our existing SNAP caseload be automatically in the system once it's up and going, or will we have to physically put them into the system?
So this is the production dashboard over here. We have 237 people who have been uploaded into the system. And if they have an agency assigned to them, they're in here. I don't want to click on here because it has people's name and their agency. And I don't want to get that into a recording.
Right.
So check your dashboard and check this number right over here to see if there are any people from your existing caseload that are in the dashboard. And then what you can do with them is update the system, finish the pieces and parts to get this ready. And Andy has said on previous recordings that this is your time to work through all of the kinks, because as of July 1, she wants everything run through the Isets system. So I don't
Okay.
know if you're, I don't know if you're looking in there right now.
Yes,
And
I'm trying to now.
okay, and we're what was happening was we were comparing lists from your PPRs, from the PPRs that you submitted to Andy. We were looking at those lists and comparing them to like the most recent IES caseload. And some of the people may have expired, you know, like maybe they were done with their program with you. And so they were no longer in the IES database sync that we received. So in that case, you may just need to enter some, hey, they started here, they ended here, we're golden with them kind of thing. If they're currently active, you'll want to complete the assessments and you'll want to try to get as much activities going on, services going on with them as you can.
Okay. So I got on a few minutes late. What's the best way to go in? Should I go in when I log on to Illinois WorkNet? Should I go into dashboards or should I go it through customer support?
You,
The same. This,
if you log in, there's a couple of ways that you can get there. If you go to, I was trying to get to my partner page. I think I closed that tab. So you can go to, and too many people are watching me type. I can't do it fast. You can go to the partner page and let me put this link into chat for everyone. This is the partner page and you can click this. You can click this link right here and it will take you to a login page. And then you log in and it will take you directly to Isets. The other opportunity is if you're already logged into Illinois WorkNet and say you're working on your DHS youth program
uh-huh.
and you want to go to Isets, you just click on your My Dashboard up here and you can click on the Isets icon. If you're already in the working on customers for DHS youth or another program, if anybody's involved with any other programs, you can go to your tools up here and click on your dashboard for whatever program you have access to, or you can go to groups or to customers and search for Isets. So there's a number of ways to get to your Isets customers. Did I just confuse you completely?
No, I've been following. I can't get past when I go to my dashboard, I click on ISETS. I'm already logged into Illinois WorkNet, so it comes up the page where it asks for the customer's name and case number and individual number. I just don't have anybody that I can go further with right now.
Okay. All right. So then you've just got to go to the dashboard and look to see, go to the Isets dashboard.
Okay.
And when you look on here for the activities assessed and employment plan completed, you'll look for anybody that's not participating that's been assigned to your agency.
Okay. My dashboard looks very different.
It might, because I've got access to the entire state.
Okay, so when my assets Isets dashboard pops up, it asks for select a region. What
And you
region?
don't see any other data because you probably don't have any customers in there in your list yet.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have customers listed on your PPR and submit that to Andy. Because that's where we got the customers. And a couple of things that were happening on the customers that got submitted, there might have been a typo in their name, in their first or their last name, and there may have been a typo in their case number. So you
Okay.
have to verify that those things are all correct, because that's how we are getting the information into the system.
Okay. So my next question is, since the FCRCs aren't doing physical referrals, everything is basically operating off reverse referrals. So once will the forms are the referral forms and everything already set up in ISETS to plug in the information and just submit it to DHS and have them approve, or will it still will we still have to physically do the form and email it to the FCRC for approval?
You can do it all in Isets.
Ah, beautiful.
So for example, I'm just going to click on this existing customer in test. And on their overview page, there's this referrals box at the top. And if you want to add a referral, so now after you complete the assessments, let me take a step back. On the intake and referral, once you complete the universal assessment with the client, with the customer, I don't know what you guys call your participants. I'm going to call them participants.
Customers.
So once you complete the assessment with the person, you can come in here and it says send reply referrals right here. So you do the initial assessment, you complete the needs assessment, then right down here at the bottom, it says select your next step. You can view recommended providers, or you can send reply referral. If you click on this send reply referral, so Carolyn, are you listening? You can come in here and you can add a referral.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. So if I pick
Okay.
FCRC, I send them to that FCRC.
Okay.
And I can pick, based on the question that Donna asked earlier, I can pick closest by, because the zip code I entered for that customer was closest to Lower North, but maybe they had been living down in the South Loop, and that's actually their office of record. I can pick South Loop. It doesn't really matter, because as I said, the workforce development people are supposed to be doing the referral checks and getting people approved or not approved. So I pick this. I have to get consent for this customer, and on the consent, you need their username and their password. And if you have just added them to the system, you'll have their username and password. If they have been in the system and changed their password, you will need to get that password from the customer. Now, the beauty of this is, I'm going to back out of this referral. You can reset that customer's password for them if they don't remember what it is. All right. So I'm going to add this referral. I'm going to click this button right here, select my office. I'm going to hope that this hasn't changed. So I'm going to do A Collins 1. Oh, you know what? I've got a list that I can look in. Give me a second. And I'm gonna do. Yeah, not on this page. Yeah, I'm not, okay. I'm gonna kind of guess here. I gotta back out of this one more time. All right, so if they have not reset a password, if you haven't done anything like that, it's a brand new user, that password is gonna be their last name right here and the 6 digits of their birthday. So it's gonna be 07 06 92. So let's try this again and keep your fingers crossed for me here, folks. Okay, so it was, I guessed right. So the customer consent was successfully added. So now I can go on and say the client assessment was completed on such and such a date. And I think we were testing her last year. So I'm gonna say June 1, anticipated start date. Maybe she was on a waiting list for you. So we're gonna say she's supposed to start Thursday. And I'm referring from Asian Human Services, and I can put any other notes in here that I want to. And then I submit this. And then what happens is in test on the dashboard, it will show up in here in this referral list, and DHS will see that there is somebody needing a referral approved, and they will be, I'm not quite sure what their process is, but they're gonna go through and approve the referrals or reject them based on whether or not they're still eligible for services. So if you can do both assessments, that's great. But otherwise, no, where was I? Excuse me? Okay, somebody just left. Okay, so on your overview page, you can see the referral. You'll see that this one is pending. This one down here was approved. If you open up, you'll see the steps and the process of the different referrals. We've got some in test that have like 5 or 6 or 7 because we were playing with things. I would think that maybe you'll have maybe 2 levels at most, like 4 and then maybe 4.1 or maybe 4.2.
So in order to get them approved, do you have to do both of the assessments or you just do the universal one?
You need to at minimum have the initial assessment completed. But as I told Carolyn a little bit earlier, finishing up the needs assessment is maybe another 10 minutes max.
Okay.
Okay, Shakita Stevens said, what are the 2 assessments that need to be completed for the customers? Did I answer that question for you? It's the initial assessment and then the needs assessment. And Emma says, so if someone has been active, who has been active is missing, do we need to add them or email you and Andy? I would, if they were in your PPR report and the name and the number were correct, they should be in the list. If the name or the number had a typo, then it didn't sync with the information that was in IES that we received. So in that case, you may want to follow up with Andy by
Okay,
email.
okay. I think I'll have to, because I went back and checked the list we sent, and I checked our like reports as well, and the numbers and name matches. So I'll have to shoot a note.
Okay, try not to put more PPI information in there than you have to.
Oh, yeah, heard. Thanks.
All right,
Dee, this is Carolyn.
yes, ma'am.
We have quite a few people in our database, but my question is just piggybacking off of what you just said. I have a couple individuals that that are active and have been active, but they're not included in the database. So I can just reach out to Andy.
And check to make sure that the name is spelled the same as what it is in IES and that the number is correct. That's the big piece is, you know, it could be off by one letter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have an extra R and
Okay. And what is the individual number that I see on in the system for the clients where it's requesting an individual number? Is that something that we have to?
on in Isets, when you get to a customer list and you are, I'm going to just kind of go to when you're searching for an IES customer,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have one of these data points. In most cases, if they have an IDHS identification card of some sort, or their letter or something, they may have more numbers than you may have. So in some cases, it's the first name and the last name and the date of birth. And what they give you may or may not match the data that is in IES that we receive.
Okay.
So you just got to make sure if they tell you they're getting benefits, then they should have something, you know, they should have something that has how things are spelled.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. And you only need one of these data points.
Right, right.
All right. Any other questions? We'll be back next week too. Oh, wait, are we?
Yeah, I did that. I think that was going to be my question because I didn't know if we were, because I know there's still some things to get to because right now the quarterly reports are upon us, and I'd be interested to see that, you know, how we pull reporting, but I know that's coming. So I'm glad this is a slow kind of go live.
Yeah, our next session will be May 10th.
Oh, okay.
So this was the last of our weekly ones. We may change that. We may add some more sessions. I'll talk to Andy and see what she wants to do with that.
Okay. Well, that'll give us
But-
some time, at least give me some time to go through some training with some of the providers. So yeah.
Sure, sure. Will there be any trainings by me? Meaning, Tracy, what do you mean?
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute. Like, will you go back and do an actual training for the providers, or is this really it for the providers?
Well, we have all of the video recordings, and those can be watched at any time. And I'm happy to go through each week and answer questions for people that need to know some things, but those trainings and the instructions are probably your Bible. I mean, those are there all the time for what you can refer to. And, you know, you can rewind and watch slowly and go back and forth. And then if you've got questions, it'll be easier here. I think right before we go live, probably in June, we'll probably do another like start to finish kind of thing. I would anticipate doing something like that. Tracy, are you with DHS or with an agency?
DHS.
Okay. What would you like to see? Would you like to see another start to finish?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, I feel like we were not clear with the providers that they, I mean, honestly, just within, I'd say the last month, Shakita or Carolyn could, or Vince or mine, they could tell you, but we weren't saying like, hey, you need to be calling in on Tuesdays, because I didn't realize that this was their training, really. So to be fair, I don't think, I think that we were kind of waiting for some training that really never happened. So the providers, I mean, if I'm being fair, they are, I feel like they're behind because we were never clear to them that this is really happening in July 1. You need to know what you're doing. So,
Okay.
I don't, you know, I mean, I guess I just feel kind of, I don't know what the word here is, but I'm a little worried for them because just within the last month, I said like, hey, I honestly didn't even know these meetings were happening until Andy sent an email that said nobody's calling in. And then I'm like, oh, wait, they're supposed to be calling in. So then I said to them, like, hey, you need to be calling in. So, I mean, to be fair, I just feel like, I mean, I can go through and watch the trainings though. And if I have to train them off of those trainings, that's what I'll have to do.
Well, I'm here on Tuesdays from what time did we start? 3 to 4. And if we need to add a few more and actually go start to finish on one, I'm happy to do that. I can bring that up to Andy if you want to bring it up to Andy, and then all of you provider managers let your teams know
Okay.
that we're going to have that. And the schedule is here on the partner page. So watch and see if there's some more times added.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else has a question? I've got 3 minutes left.
It's Shakita again. I'm sorry, but I was kind of just mimicking on that. I'm so used to when we started with IES, we were at least, together, hands-on and doing this. It's a little difficult being on one side of the computer and you're on one side of the computer. So I'm just asking, are we going to have some face-to-face training? I need some one-on-one, face-to-face. We all get in the big room, have our computers, one caseload or a tricky, because I was a WBS, now I'm an IES user, and this has been the most difficult.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't see a classroom type kind of training happening. I just don't see that happening. I'm happy to try to do some one-on-one with you, but it would be on a computer screen like this.
Okay, that's fine. Can you please schedule us a one-on-one? And once I get it, I will have it.
All
But
right,
I just
Shakita, who are you with?
Springfield Urban League.
I'm sorry, what?
Urban League.
Okay, Springfield Urban League. Yeah, send send Andy an email and copy me on it, and then we'll try and get something scheduled for you.
Really appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is it okay if there's a few other people with us?
Oh, sure. The more the merrier. We all can go off of our own questions in our own minds and get it together and do it correctly.
All right, all right. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, D, it's Hakeem again. I'm
You're out of
kind of
questions, buddy.
I'm kind of confused though. It
What?
seems I'm kind of confused. It seems as though we're doing the SNAP employment and training program, and we're dealing with with customers from the initial reverse referral through finding them employment, but we also have to follow the rules of DHS, of them completing their hours and different activities. There's a lot of forms that we have to fill out, and I'm not seeing I'm not seeing the track that we're supposed to go down.
That, so are you talking about their activities? Is that like the activities that need to be added and you need to track those?
Yes, their activities, their activity. Well, I'm assuming that DHS is doing away with all of the forms that we have to fill out, tracking their activities and things like that. Uh, for example, the monthly activity report, the 2151A. Uh, I'm seeing now forms. Okay, I haven't been able to make it that far into the system.
You probably, because you probably don't have a customer in here yet, right?
So I put in one of our customers, one of our customers. It discovered a profile for them, but now it's asking to complete the universal assessment. So I don't want to complete the assessment as the client, as the customer. So I stopped right there.
All right. One thing that we discovered with Epic was we as case managers, I'm using the global we, need to enter the information on behalf of the customer because they don't always do it right.
Right. Okay. True.
So you need to complete the assessment
Okay.
and have that done, and then add those activities and services for the customers who are currently in your caseload. Those are going to get automatically approved, right?
Okay.
It's just the brand new people that you're bringing in that need to have those reverse referrals done.
Right. Okay.
Because you know how we switched for DHS Youth, we switched to y'all doing the application for them, right?
Right. So it's
So-
going to be basically similar for the SNAP,
Yes.
for the SNAP claims. Okay. Okay.
And just to clarify, D, when you say that, you mean like doing it for them, but doing it with them?
Yes. Thank you, Natasha. Yes,
Right.
with them. You're going to be entering the information in the system, but you're going to be asking the participant the
Questions.
question.
Right. Well, it looks like I'm going to be watching some videos.
All right. Yay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'll get this recording posted as soon as possible, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks, if not before.
All right, Dee, thank you.
You're welcome.